The word forgiveness has to do with a release of what you are filled with. Forgiveness to exhale. That the principle of inhaling only occurs, I'll say it this way. There was only one breath that God gave that did not follow exhaling. In every man's life or every woman's life, there's only one breath that God gives you. It's the one when you're born. That literally you have nothing to exhale when you're born. So he gives you your first breath. And then the rest is exchange. But then, see, he invested that breath because your last breath will only be an exhale.
Wow.
And you give it back to him. The exchange in life, it's always exchange with God. Trade your sorrows for his joy. You know, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. That I trade my darkness for light. I trade my sin for righteousness. That there is an exchange with God. And that even in our giving, we must understand that it's part of a flow, traffic between us and God. That my tithe is just an acknowledgement of his ownership, but there's some things that I need in my life that must go even beyond that, that my faith must be sparked in me to go beyond. You remember the woman who, there was another one, that there was a famine in the land, and she and her son were going to eat this cake and die, and the man of God says, well, make me a cake first. Are you crazy? This is all I got. How dare you, is what most of us would ask. But she just made the cake. She sold even from her lack. Such a great gift, because watch this. How great was that gift when that was all she had? And from that seed sown away from her, she kept going to that barrel. And every time she went, she didn't have to look and check. She had enough every time she dug in there. Never put more in there. She just sold out of it once. And until the famine was over, God sustained her from that one barrel, which she thought was empty, but God somehow kept it coming. But it comes from an unusual exhale. What in your life can you exhale to spark an exchange between you and God? Anybody ever used to live down, so we a little young here, but there's some of us who used to live down south, whoever had to go to the pump at the well, right? That in order to get the pump going, you had to have water. You had to pour water into the pump before it gave you water back. So if you were so spent that you didn't have any water, and you got to the well, even though there was a depth of water in the well, if you had nothing to pour in it to prime the pump, you die of thirst. Because a seed is needed to create the exchange between you and God. Y'all with me? Amen. Now, let me tell you some things the Lord said to me while I was there. Because I said some things in this very class, in the short time we've been studying together, I said some things that the Lord punched me in the mouth about when I got there. How dare you, he said. I'm sitting in the pew in the service going, why you beating me up like this? I'm trying to do the right thing. He says, you told them people, he said this exactly to me, Brian. He said, you told them that the reason why you preach so hard when you go elsewhere because those people are more mature. I ought to slap you. So I ought to slap you. As a matter of fact, I didn't want to slap. He slapped me like 5 times. I was just laying there like, Jesus, please, please. He says, all love. He says, because, he says, you never ever rob your people of the word I gave you. Give it. Give it all. If you leave with a headache, so what? He said, leave there empty. He told me to leave this class every time I stand before you. Leave there empty. Don't leave nothing on the table. He told me, and stop mocking people who get excited at the end of their message and hoop. If you feel like doing it, do it. If they don't get it, don't worry, it ain't for them. He said, stop canceling your history to form to something that you think people want.
Wow.
Everything you experienced is valuable, or God would not have allowed you to experience it. Stop room, empty space for more. Did you pay her debt? How many know that's some kind of debt?